As powers in the West wrestled with profound political and religious transformations, the lands to the East stood on the brink of their own monumental change. Emerging from centuries of disunity and bitter conflict, China stood ready to reclaim the unity that had once propelled it to prosperity. Driven by ambition and vision, a new dynasty rose, determined to heal the land's fractures and lift it to unprecedented heights. Hello, and welcome to Impactful Moments, where we explore some of the most, you guessed it, impactful moments in human history. If history is your thing, or you simply enjoy learning new topics, please consider liking and subscribing to our channel. Your support helps us to continue creating captivating, impactful historical content. In this video, we will discuss the rise of Tang China, China's Golden Age. Following the fall of the Han Dynasty in 220 CE, and a roughly 400-year period of unification, China was thrown back into an era of disunity, lasting for centuries, beginning with the Three Kingdoms period and culminating in the Northern and Southern Dynasties period. By the late 6th century, China had been ravaged by this prolonged division, warfare, and political instability. The Sui dynasty, founded in 581, eventually succeeded where others had failed, reunifying the country by 589. However, this reunification came at a steep price. The reign of Emperor Yang of Sui, though ambitious, was marked by forced labor, costly military campaigns, and massive public works projects, like the Grand Canal, which drained the dynasty's resources. His harsh rule, similar to the brutal tactics of the Qin dynasty almost 800 years earlier, led to widespread unrest, leaving China's newly restored unity on the brink of collapse. Emperor Yang was further troubled by a prophecy foretelling that a man from the Li family would overthrow him and become the next emperor, leading him to eliminate as many members of the Li family as possible. Rather than stabilizing his rule, however, this campaign likely hastened the Sui dynasty's end, quite literally becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. One general, Li Yuan, fearing for his life, orchestrated a coup in 617, overthrowing the Sui and declaring himself Emperor Gaozu, formally establishing the Tang Dynasty in 618. Gaozu's son, Li Shimin, proved himself an exceptional general, particularly with his decisive victory at the Hulao Pass, which solidified the Tang's regional dominance. However, the Tang Dynasty's succession was not without contention. Following a rivalry between Li Shimin and his brothers, the crown prince Li Jiangchen and Li Yuanji, Li Shimin orchestrated what would become known as the Jianwu Gate incident. Anticipating their plot to assassinate him, he lured his brothers to the Jianwu Gate, where he and a trusted officer killed them, clearing his path to the throne. In 626, Li Shimin compelled his father to abdicate, becoming the second Tang emperor, under the name Tang Taizong. This began what many consider the greatest reign in Chinese history, and marked the beginning of the Chinese Golden Age. Although his rise to power involved violence and political maneuvering, Taizong ruled with fairness, adopting a Confucian philosophy of governance that placed the emperor as a servant of the people, no greater than the average citizen. He valued the counsel of wise advisors and expanded civil examinations, enabling skilled commoners, and not just highborns, to rise within the government, fostering a meritocratic bureaucracy. Under Taizong, Chang'an, the Tang capital, flourished, becoming the largest city in the world with a population potentially exceeding 1 million. A skilled military leader, Taizong also achieved victories over the Eastern Turkic Khaganate, extending China's influence further west than ever before. Upon Taizong's death, his son, Emperor Gaozong, ascended to the throne. Initially, Gaozong continued his father's expansion efforts, bringing Korea under Tang control, though he was ultimately seen as a weaker ruler, especially as his consort, Wu Zaitan, grew increasingly powerful. Wu Zaitan, a formidable figure, ultimately took control, ruling through several puppet emperors following Gaozong's death, before usurping the throne for herself in 690 to become the only official empress regent in China's long history. Her rule, while harsh, was marked by tight, effective governance and resulted in greater diversity in the representation of women and various Chinese clans within the government. Following a coup in 705 that overthrew Empress Wu, China experienced a brief period of instability, characterized by short-lived emperors, some of whom met untimely ends. Nonetheless, the Tang Dynasty's golden age resumed with Emperor Xianzong's reign beginning in 712. Building on the foundations laid by Taizong, Emperor Xianzong brought China to exceptional geographic, economic, and cultural heights, marking the peak of one of history's greatest empires. This period saw China's borders expand to unprecedented extents, encompassing vast territories, from the Korean Peninsula to the Central Asian regions of modern-day Afghanistan. Victories over the Eastern Turkic Khaganate and successful campaigns into the western regions brought these lands under Tang influence, extending the empire's reach across Asia. As Tang forces solidified control over these territories, China became the center of a vast trade network along the Silk Road, connecting the empire with the Abbasid Caliphate, India, Persia, and beyond. This extensive trade brought immense wealth to the empire and enriched China with foreign goods, knowledge, and new ideas, securing its position as the world's most powerful and prosperous kingdom. Xianzong's court fostered a remarkable degree of political and religious tolerance, allowing Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism to flourish alongside Zoroastrianism, Nestorian Christianity, and Islam. This openness attracted diverse populations to Chang'an, the bustling imperial capital, where foreign traders, artisans, and scholars lived and worked alongside native Chinese citizens. The demand for Chinese goods surged abroad, prompting Tang artisans to produce luxury items such as silks and ceramics, specifically tailored to the tastes of the Abbasid Muslims and other foreign markets. Chinese porcelain, lacquerware, and textiles became highly sought-after commodities across Eurasia, cementing Chinese influence over trade and culture. Within the empire, artistry and intellectual pursuits thrived. Poetry reached extraordinary heights, with figures like Li Bai and Du Fu, who set a lasting literary standard, while Tang innovations, including woodblock printing, advanced knowledge and scholarship. By blending cultural openness with artistic and intellectual achievements, the Tang Dynasty under Xianzong embodied an era of wealth, beauty, and sophistication that elevated China to historical standard-setting power. In Emperor Xianzong's later years, however, the golden age of the Tang would take a dark turn. Xianzong began to retreat from direct governance, leaving the administration increasingly in the hands of his advisors, particularly Chancellor Li Linfu. Under Li Linfu's influence, a climate of favoritism took hold, and the empire's openness to foreign influence extended even into the military ranks, with foreign generals and soldiers filling key roles. This reliance on foreign military personnel, while initially pragmatic, set the stage for one of the bloodiest rebellions in human history, one that would exploit the Tang Dynasty's cosmopolitan nature, unraveling decades of prosperity and stability. The rebellion left scars that would permanently alter China's trajectory, weakening the empire and marking the beginning of its decline as a world-shaping superpower. The rise and golden age of the Tang Dynasty ushered in a period of unprecedented prosperity and openness. Under leaders like Taizong and Xianzong, the Tang political stabilization and benevolent policies promoted open-mindedness and a stark rise in international trade. This would allow citizens to enjoy a higher quality of life, as the empire's wealth surged and new ideas enriched Tang's society. Economic prosperity flourished, and the empire's vibrant cities, such as Chang'an and Laoyang, became hustling hubs of commerce, culture, and artistry. More citizens had access to financial resources and enjoyed luxuries previously reserved for the elite, contributing to a thriving urban life and setting the stage for a golden age in Chinese art, literature, and innovation. Government reforms also supported greater participation and mobility within the empire. Through the Tang's more meritocratic bureaucracy, skilled individuals from lower social classes could enter government roles based on skill rather than birthright. This structure motivated people across various classes to invest in the empire's success, fostering a spirit of unity and loyalty. As a result, governance became more effective, and the empire expanded both its physical and social boundaries, creating a more inclusive and resilient society. While the Tang's influence and military successes contributed to its golden age, their expansion inevitably led to conflicts on the empire's new frontiers. The Battle of Talas in 751, fought between the Tang forces and the Abbasid Caliphate, was a significant clash that halted Tang ambitions in Central Asia. Though also remembered for the cultural and technological exchanges it catalyzed, Talas marked the limit of Tang expansion westward. This defeat not only reduced China's influence in Central Asia, but also allowed the Abbasid Caliphate to secure a more dominant position in the region, curtailing the Tang's presence on the Silk Road. Political shifts within the dynasty also led to vulnerabilities that left it susceptible to threats, both internal and external. These cracks in the empire would erupt into one of China's most devastating conflicts, the An Lushan Rebellion. The rebellion, which will hopefully be explored in detail in a later video, halted the grandeur of the Tang, decimating its population and weakening the government's hold over the empire. This period of bloody strife led to a Tang dynasty that, though it would persist for another century, emerged considerably weakened, with diminished international standing and internal stability. The rebellion thus marked a tragic and abrupt end to the height of the Tang's golden age, reshaping the course of Chinese history. The Tang dynasty's influence, likely establishing it as the most powerful polity in the world at the time, extended well beyond its own era, truly standing the test of time. Known for fostering a culture of innovation, the Tang introduced advancements that continue to shape civilization close to 1,500 years later. Among these was woodblock printing, which democratized print and contributed to an explosion in the dissemination of knowledge. This technology foreshadowed, and according to some sources may have even inspired, the development of Gutenberg's printing press centuries later. Beyond the Tang's golden age, their spirit of innovation endured, eventually giving rise to the discovery of gunpowder during the dynasty's later years, a pivotal invention that, for better or worse, has had lasting effects on warfare, security, and societal structures worldwide. In literature, the Tang dynasty produced some of the most celebrated poets and writers in Chinese history. Though not as widely known in the West, figures like Li Bai and Du Fu became immortalized by their literary and poetic genius, with works that continue to be revered in China and studied by scholars around the world. Tang artistry, meanwhile, has also lived on, with Tang pottery and porcelain remaining iconic symbols of Chinese culture. Masterpieces like the Longmen Grottos and the Lashan Giant Buddha further exemplify the period's architectural brilliance and devotion to spiritual expression. Now UNESCO World Heritage Sites, these monumental works continue to attract global audiences, testifying to the artistic richness of Tang society. By all accounts, Tang China was one of the most prosperous, innovative, and artistically vibrant civilizations in world history, setting a standard of cultural achievement that would inspire and influence societies far beyond its borders. I hope you enjoyed this video and found this period in history both informative and enlightening. Please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below, and I hope you can join us for another video. Thanks for watching.